Hi, I'm Andy, and I'm going to introduce you to DEVCON's client-side security platform. So you have internal dedicated servers that host all of your organization's digital assets. That's your data, your communications platforms, and the content for your website. And this is likely secured by a group of people, or specialized software, or some combination of both. But when you deliver your content to a web page, the third-party scripts that are on that page take over. Most sites have a bunch of third-party technology like audience analytics pixels or advertising tags or chatbots. And those make calls to third-party servers, or in the case of an advertising tag, almost certainly more than one third-party server. And it's at this point that even though a user is interacting with your organization, their security and protection from malicious code is now the responsibility of all of these third parties. And this can create a big gap for most enterprises that have a robust web presence. As Wired put it, if these JavaScript components aren't specifically contained, they can open a window to allow bad guys to access systems and execute code and steal data. Now, Forbes was a little bit more succinct when they said many firms just aren't doing enough to ensure that they are secure. DEVCON provides three key components of client-side or edge security. One is DOM permissioning. That allows you to set custom settings around what a third-party script can do. You can allow it to do the things you expect and disallow anything else. Instead of worrying about what might happen and how you react to it, you instead say only a certain set of activities are allowed. But if malicious code does get through to your site, DEVCON can block that in real time, can track the exploit that was attempted, and in many cases show you the source where or how it arrived on your site. And then finally, we can centralize your content security policy management, which allows you to make sure that the standards of your CSP are set well across all your site and makes it easier to make exceptions or set the bar higher for certain parts of your content. No security system is infallible. And right now, most organizations rely on this distributed set of third-party security to protect their users. But what DEVCON can do is provide a new layer of client-side security, because even trusted vendors can pose a risk. Two of the top 5 data breaches in 2018 were due to these kinds of third-party security flaws. Ticketmaster saw 40,000 users involved in a breach that cost them $6.5 million in class action lawsuits and pending GDPR fines. And British Airways had 185,000 users exposed to a mage card attack, which steals your information when you make an online purchase. And they were levied $230 million of GDPR fines, which was a record at the time. And not only can client-side security solutions help prevent these kinds of expenditures, but they can also rescue your revenue when you're monetizing your site. So if you are delivered a bad advertisement, you've lost the opportunity to advertise to that user, and you may have lost that user's trust entirely. Not only that, but the operational headaches of trying to figure out what source of the bad ads that came from are very costly. We can block that bad advertisement in real time and go and find a legit advertisement to take its place. So not only have we rescued that impression, but we've seen that the combination of those impressions, the lost audiences that come from the bad experience, and the operational overhead that comes from trying to solve the problem can cost an organization 30% of its programmatic revenue every year. That's supposed to be a very high margin business, and instead you're spending a lot just trying to maintain it. So if you do try to monetize your site through a third-party ad tag, the revenue that we can rescue for you through client-side security can be substantial. These kinds of client-side threats are often overlooked. Take email, for example. 0.01% of email communications contain phishing attacks, and that impacts about 9% of unique users in an organization. But on a website, 1.5% of ad impressions can carry malicious code, and 70% of the average site's users are exposed. Now, the email phishing issue is usually top of mind for security teams, and you certainly wouldn't rely on your communications or email marketing teams to solve that problem. But on the ad tech side, typically it's ad operations or web operations that are responsible for making sure that malvertising doesn't reach the site. So you can see the disparity between these two types of security problems, even though arguably the client-side security issue is as big or larger. So with DEVCON, you can safeguard your users' data from being taken by threat actors. You can prevent your revenue from being directed to unauthorized sites and redirected away from your own pockets. And you can protect your brand from being tarnished by bad advertisements, data breaches, and other violations of your site. There are a number of vendors in this arena that are working on similar things. There's vendors on the ad tech security side that look to um, increase the quality of inventory by making sure that malvertising or other ad network exploits don't make it to a site. And then there are client-side security solutions that are very much traditional security solutions that approach things in a kind of all or nothing scenario where we make sure that nothing that is out of hand or shows any trace of being problematic can load. But what DEVCON tries to do is sit in the middle. We recognize that security solutions often turn a blind eye to the ideas of innovation or monetization, but we recognize that this is a larger problem than simply site inventory quality and revenue reclamation. So we've tried to build a platform that allows for all of these features to be in one place so that you don't have to Frankenstein a bunch of solutions together and you don't have to give up on any nuanced understanding of your business in order to gain security.